Today I want to talk about how to optimize your landing page for Google AdWords. Now, when you think of the lead generation equation, you're typically going to think of the equation of traffic times conversion is leads. And that's basically how it does work. You drive people to your website, that's your traffic, and then it takes a certain number of people to visit your website to convert or take the call to action you want. That could be somebody buying a product or simply opting in for some kind of service or directly calling you. And basically what you want to do is you want to be able to become efficient in both traffic and conversion. Now, I think what you're going to find out is traditionally a lot of people like to focus on traffic, especially in Google AdWords. They like to focus on the keywords, they like to focus on how much their cost per clicks are, and they like to try to figure out ways to reduce the cost per click. Really today what I'm going to talk about is the other side of the equation, the conversion aspect, because what you're going to find is that it may be a lot easier for you to actually improve your conversion, and by doing so you can really impact dramatically your cost per lead. So again, like I said, the digital marketing equation for lead generation is traffic times conversion for your leads. So let's break it down here a little bit. If your average cost per click is $1 and you're converting 1 out of 10 people who go to your site, then your cost per lead is going to be $10. And again, like I said, most people like to focus on reducing their cost per click. So in this example, let's just say instead of 90 cents, you drop your cost per click, instead of $1, you drop your cost per click by 10% to 90 cents cost per click. If you do that and you keep the conversion the same, then your cost per lead is going to drop from $10 to $9. Now, I know what you're thinking. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of math in this video, but bear with me. It's going to be simple, and we're going to come to a good point, and this is going to help you out. Sometimes, like I said, it's really easier to optimize your landing pages to reduce your cost per lead. So let's say, for example, if you keep your $1 cost per click, but you improve your conversion by doing some of the simple tips that I'm going to go ahead and talk about here later. If you improve your conversion from 1 out of 10 to 1 out of 5 people, 20%, then your cost per lead is going to significantly drop from $10 to only $5. So, like I said, many times small businesses are going to focus almost exclusively on optimizing the cost per click, and they're going to kind of forget about the conversion or take that for granted. But in this video instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of simple landing page conversion tips that's going to allow you to double your lead conversions, especially if you're at the early stages. So let me start off by asking you this question. Do you know how long it takes for your landing page to load? If not, you're going to want to find out. And the simplest way to do this is go to tools.pingdom.com. From there, it's really simple. You just enter your URL and then you look at the results. So this is what Pingdom looks like. You enter in your URL and you have 4 places from which to test. For me, I'm in Phoenix, so testing from San Jose, California is probably closest. You have a choice of New York, Sweden, and some other place, maybe Germany or something. So not a huge selection, but you go ahead and enter it, and it's going to tell you how fast your page loads. And here, if you look at the load time, I'm at not even a second to load, and that's faster than 90% of all the sites. Now, I'm going to do a little caution here. If you start getting into the performance grade, and you look at the performance insights, you start going down there, you want to be careful on what you fix and what you don't fix. The performance grade isn't all that important. What I found is I could get a 90% performance grade on this, but if I do that, my load time could go up to 6 or 7 seconds, and that may be a benefit. So you want to play in between, but if you see anything that stands out to you in your performance insights on Pingdom, just simply forward it to your developer, and they can work with it and try to get you the best mix of performance grade and load time. But for me, my goal, I want to get my load time under 3 seconds. I want to get my page to load as fast as possible. Why is that important? Because 53% of the site visits are abandoned if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. And even more astonishing, the average mobile site, they miss this mark by 19 seconds. So think about this for a second. If you're really focusing on your cost per click, and half the people you're sending to your site are bouncing because it takes too long for your site to load, you're really hurting your cost per lead. So one of the things you could do through Google is you could create an accelerated mobile page, AMP. And if you go to my blog on this particular topic, you can see what the URL is, or you could just Google accelerated mobile pages, and it'll take you there on how to create one. It's very, very simple. And you do it, it's an HTML version of your landing page. And these faster landing pages will lead quicker and load quicker. I'm sorry, because it loads quicker, it's going to help keep people on, which is going to improve your conversion. So we did this for a client probably about a year and a half or 2 years ago, where we took them from a simple traditional WordPress site, and we created an app site, and it literally improved their conversion by 20%. I mean, that was the only change we made. All the text was the same, the call to action was the same, the colors, the font, everything was the same. But the conversion improved by 20% because I wasn't losing people due to a long load time. This dropped their cost per lead by $5. Just one thing. You know how hard it would be for me to improve Google AdWords and lower the cost per click to have that kind of an impact? So just by making this change and speeding up my site, it improved my conversions. Now, secondly, let's face it, mobile is extremely important. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a mobile-friendly website. Why? Because everyone's using their smartphone nowadays. According to Google, 94% of people with smartphones will actually search for local information using their phones. So you want to find out, is your site mobile-friendly? And to do that, you have a Google tool. And again, you have the URL here. And if you visit my blog, again, all these things are hyperlinked, so it'll take you directly there. But you can go ahead and run a test, and Google will tell you if your site is mobile friendly or not. So this is what it looks like. They'll ask you, and you put in your URL. It's going to run a test. It's going to tell you if you're mobile friendly or not. And either way, even if you have issues, it'll tell you what the issues are. You click on that, and again, get with your developer, and they could go ahead and make changes. So if you're not mobile friendly, you want to get to being mobile friendly. And if you are mobile friendly, you probably want to see what you can improve as well. This is extremely important, and I'll give you again an example on my own website. My website, I did all the work, of course, in desktop, and I would look and it looked great in desktop, but as soon as I went to mobile, my call to action buttons were super, super small, not to mention you couldn't even read the text on it. Well, that's going to have a horrible effect on your conversions, especially if 9 out of 10 of your customers are using mobile. So it's very easy when you create a site, because you're using most times a desktop, to just look and see and kind of make your stylistic changes based on how it looks on desktop. But most of your consumers are going to be using a smartphone to get there, so you want to make sure that your site is functioning and very easy to use on mobile, and this tool will help you out with that. Finally, what you're going to want to do, once you get the basics down, that's when you want to start testing different things. What's the call to action? What color should I use? This and that. Again, Google helps you with that. So they have the Google Optimize tool, and again, you'll see the URL below. And it's Google's solution for A/B testing and personalization. And again, you want to always think about how you're testing with digital marketing. You always want to have your hypothesis. I think X is going to work, and then you want to test against that with a different alternative, and you want to track and see which one wins. That's what A/B testing is. Again, this tool is really going to be helpful for you because Optimize will pair with Google Analytics, and it's going to easily tie experiments such as page design or content changes to your key performance indicators in Google Analytics. So you'll be able to test what's working and what's not working. So here are some of the questions it'll answer for you. Is this new page design better than the old one? If so, how much better? Is it significant? What is the best call to action for our product pages? You know, is it better to buy now or to use learn more? Is it better to use an image banner or a video for your service page? Should we have all the content on one page, or should we split content out into a bunch of little pages? So these are a lot of things you're going to want to test. The Google Optimize tool will help you determine what's going to work better. And again, this is the URL for the optimization tool. And again, if you go to my blog and corresponding blog that relates to this video, then you will have all the links for this there. So in summarizing, when it comes to optimizing your landing pages, don't solely focus on lowering your cost per clicks. Yes, you want to do that, but that's not the only part of the equation. You also want to focus on your conversion too. One of the first things you want to do is test your site speed. In fact, immediately after this video, go to tools.pingdom.com and test and see if you're over 3 seconds. If you're over 3 seconds, you're losing customers. Make the necessary improvements. If you don't know how to do that, get a developer, and they'll help you out with it. Test your site to make sure it's mobile friendly. Again, the majority of your customers, at least 60% of your customers, if not, in some of my cases, it's 90% of my customers, will come to your landing page via mobile. If it is not easy to navigate in mobile, then you are going to have problems with your with conversions. So you want to be able to test it, see what's good, see what's bad, and make any adaptations. That's going to really impact your conversion rate, which is going to bring down your overall cost per lead. Finally, when you're testing, try out the Google Optimizer tool. See how you can easily track the results, find out what's working, and again, my goal here is to help you out lowering your cost per lead when using digital marketing. If you like this video, we do put out blogs on a weekly basis. Go ahead and go to synovasolutions.com and go ahead and follow us. Follow us on social media on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And you can keep up to date on some of the topics that we talk about in relationship to helping you generate leads for the lowest price.